Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a wild story. It's about how one app, born from a single, desperate late-night email, ended up becoming the absolute operating system for 1.4 billion people. Yep, we're talking about the story of WeChat.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. It's 2010. We're inside the probably smoke-filled offices of the Chinese tech giant Tencent, and you can feel it in the air, this quiet but very real sense of panic. See, Tencent was an empire, no doubt about it. But it was an empire built for desktop computers, and a massive shift was coming. The whole world was about to go mobile. And that is the story we're telling today. It's about how Tencent stared down this existential threat and basically, out of sheer desperation, built an app that did way more than just send a few messages. It literally became the digital backbone for an entire country. So, how did this revolution begin? Well, it wasn't some grand 5-year corporate strategy. Nope. It all started with a simple observation and one very urgent late-night warning.
So back then, Tencent's big thing was QQ. And I mean, it was a behemoth, 650 million users. But here's the catch. It was totally chained to the PC. Meanwhile, this tiny little Canadian app, you might have heard of it, Kik Messenger, it just exploded. We're talking 1 million users in just 2 weeks. Why? Simple. It was built for your phone first. And for Tencent, that was the ultimate canary in the coal mine.
So seeing this huge, blinking red light, a legendary programmer at the company named Alan Zhang fired off this fateful email to Tencent's founder, Pony Ma. And the response? It was fast, it was simple. He basically just said, start making it immediately. The race was officially on.
Okay, so they had the green light. But, building an app is one thing. Getting people to actually use it? That's a whole different ballgame. And their first attempt? Oh man, it was a complete and total disaster. The team basically had to find some kind of breakthrough, and fast, or they were going to get shut down.
So, January 2011 rolls around and they release Weixin, which is what they called it at first. And it was a total ghost town. All it did was send texts and photos, and everyone was just like, why would I use this? I already have QQ. Their daily growth was pathetic. We're talking low thousands. For a giant like Tencent, that's not just bad, it's a catastrophe.
Alan Zhang knew they were dead in the water without a killer feature. They needed something totally unique. And he found the answer by zoning in on this one single frustration that pretty much every smartphone user in China was dealing with.
And what was it? Push-to-talk voice messaging. Basically, it turned your phone into a walkie-talkie. And this one feature, it was a complete revolution. All of a sudden, taxi drivers, grandparents, busy professionals, anyone who hated typing out all those complex characters could just talk. It was fast, it was personal, it was easy. And just like that, daily user growth went from a few thousand to hundreds of thousands. The game had changed.
So the app was saved from the brink of extinction. But for Alan Zhang, the goal was no longer just about survival. Oh no, now it was about total, absolute domination. And the way he did it was by engineering features that tapped right into our most basic, primal human instincts. Things like loneliness, curiosity, and even the thrill of the hunt.
Think about features like People Nearby or the ridiculously addictive Shake. You'd literally shake your phone and instantly connect with some other random person shaking theirs, anywhere in the world. It totally transformed the app. This wasn't just for messaging your friends anymore. It became the biggest social and, dating platform in the entire country. And that little rifle bolt sound effect when you made a connection? A stroke of genius. It gamified the whole experience, pushing WeChat right past the 50 million user mark.
All right, so they've conquered social. What's next? Finance. But there was a massive problem, a Goliath-sized problem. The market was completely owned by their arch-rival, Alibaba, and its payments app, Alipay. I mean, they had a 90% market share. It looked totally untouchable. And WeChat share? A big, fat zero.
The founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, said it best himself. He said Tencent launched a Pearl Harbor attack on them. And that's exactly what it was. What happened was, during Chinese New Year, WeChat took this centuries-old tradition, giving cash in red envelopes, and they digitized it. It was brilliant. They turned payments into this super fun, addictive game. You could send a digital red envelope to a group chat, and the money would be split up randomly. It was like a little lottery. But to play the game, well, you had to link your bank account. And over just one holiday period, 8 million people did exactly that. Just like that, Alipay's monopoly
was shattered, literally, overnight.
So now they've got social, they've got finance. What could possibly be next? Well, WeChat's next ambition was even bigger, way bigger. They wanted to become the central operating system for your entire life. The goal? To build a digital world that you would never, ever have to leave.
And that's exactly what they built. This digital walled garden, where you can do, and I mean this literally, everything. Paying for your groceries, ordering a taxi, booking a flight. You can even do things like schedule a doctor's appointment or file for divorce, all inside the app. It got to the point where WeChat wasn't just an app on your phone anymore. It was your phone.
This whole strategy really came to a head with something they called mini programs. Think of them as lightweight apps that run inside WeChat, so you don't need to download anything new. And check this out. The launch date was absolutely not a coincidence. They launched it on the exact 10th anniversary of Steve Jobs announcing the very first iPhone. It was Alan Zhang sending a message, declaring a quiet little war on Apple's App Store.
But here's the thing. When one single company gets to control a nation's communication, its finances, and its entire daily life, well, another, much bigger power is inevitably going to step in. And that power is the state.
With things like mandatory real name registration and some very sophisticated AI censorship, getting your WeChat account suspended became a kind of digital death. Imagine it. Suddenly, you're cut off from your money, from your contacts, from basic services like paying for the bus. And the scariest part? There is no one to appeal to. You just digitally cease to exist.
This power became terrifyingly real for everyone during the pandemic with something called the Health Code. It was a mini program that basically turned WeChat into a digital passport, and it decided whether you had the basic right to leave your own home. A secret algorithm determined your fate. Your code could flip from green, meaning you're free to go, to red, meaning you're in lockdown, literally overnight, with no explanation at all.
Now today, WeChat's dominance isn't quite as absolute as it once was, but its ultimate legacy, what it's really left us with, is this huge, profound question about the true price of convenience in our modern world.
The new kid on the block, the new threat, is Douyin, which is China's version of TikTok. Its insanely addictive short videos are just winning the battle for people's attention, what the tech world calls time spent. So for the very first time, WeChat, this essential, almost boring utility, is having to fight to stay cool, to stay culturally relevant and entertaining.
But through it all, what WeChat has really perfected is the idea of a digital panopticon. It's an old concept of a prison where a single guard can see everyone, but the prisoners never know if they're being watched. That's WeChat. It's this inescapable system of incredible convenience, but also incredible control. Every chat, every payment, every place you go is logged and stored forever. That delete button? Yeah, it works on your screen, but it doesn't work on their servers.
And that's really what the story of WeChat leaves us with. It's the fundamental trade-off of the 21st century, isn't it? They offered a perfectly seamless, frictionless life. And in return, the price was, well, everything. Your data, your identity, your autonomy. And the crazy part, it's a deal that billions of people have already accepted.